Hello there. Yeah, I started to make a video just because I called my friend in Florida and he didn't pick up. And I'm like, well, I gotta talk to somebody. So started to talk to you, and then he called me back and over the missed call. But now I'm back again, and he never knew I was gone in the first place. But no, I was talking about having a rough day as far as like this is like a flashback day as far as withdrawal. Yeah, this isn't not cool. I think I went to sleep right around 2 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, and for what I could tell was absolutely no reason. And then I was having bad dreams. I've been having a lot of bad dreams lately, so I was having yet another bad dream involving my father, where he was smashing up the old house and going berserk, which he never really did. He went berserk many a time, but he never would just randomly smash up windows and shit. He was smashing the windows out of the garage and going crazy in this dream. And as usual with dreams, it's like you have no idea why one dream is more significant than another dream, but sometimes it's like one dream will be fraught with emotion and you really don't know why. If you were watching it as a movie, you'd be like, mm. But yeah, this was kind of a, I don't know. I've been having a lot of dreams like that, just like vivid emotional dreams. As far as the benzo intake, maybe I should stop keeping track again. I said I stopped keeping track, but then once I said I stopped keeping track, I started keeping track more, and I'm like, well, I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, it seems like I usually take my first half a pill 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and then I take my second pill. I try to make it as close to bedtime as possible. And so it's really just one pill, two halves, 5 milligrams of volume. So, the last couple of days, uh, I've been actually keeping track of when I do, or whenever the last time I made a video was. I've been actually keeping track. I'm like, I gotta stop keeping track. It's like if I feel bad, I should just take more. Then you get like in a competition with yourself where you're like, oh, let's see how good I can do. Let's see what I can do. And yeah, I don't think that's how you do it. I think how you do it is you listen to your body, and if if you're not if you're sleeping 4 hours, having bad dreams, waking up feeling sick, like today, you should probably take more. Even though I only took a half so far today, and it's about 3:30, 4 o'clock. So, um, as far as get my nerve up, like I said, it's like I need to start making phone calls and start getting proactive about my shitty existence. That was supposed to start tomorrow. I hope it can start tomorrow. I hope I'm not like I am today, where it's I'm not eating, laying around, not motivated type of day. Uh, you know, I hope I can. Eh, I gotta reconnect with the Coleman people, who are supposed to help me with my living circumstances, and I don't have a current psychologist type person because the other guy quit and is working closer to home. So um, yeah, I got to do that. I'm not sure what else I have to do. I've been gathering together money for the rent because I have to pay the rent coming up, and probably pay 4 months in advance on the rent. Um, Last night was a sign. This is a sign of my mental uh, state. Is I got some tomato soup. It's kind of a universal thing, I guess. Toasted cheese in tomato soup. It's like a common peanut butter and jelly go together type of thing. So I got that in my head, and I was like, well, take some cheddar cheese. I ain't making no damn grilled cheese sandwiches and standing on my bad leg cooking, so I'll just make cheese sandwiches, dip them in the soup, and eat tomato soup that way for a meal. So all I got to do is like put the cheese back in the refrigerator, but I got all these um, re- ridiculous amount of juices lined up in that little seatbelt thing on the bottom of the refrigerator door, and they're like poking up like this. Somehow one of them tilted forward and got caught in the racks on the inside of the refrigerator, so I could only get the door open about that wide. I couldn't get my hand through that space, but if I was, you know, sensible, I would just dealt with it later. Realized that my nerves were on edge, dealt with it later, threw my cheese through the little crack in the door. Just threw the cheese in the refrigerator, closed the door, and I'm like, I'll deal with that shit later. Because I tried to like wiggle it free, and I tried to like reach in there and stuff like this, and it wasn't working. And so naturally, I lost my temper and pulled the door open as hard as I could, and juices flew everywhere, and I broke the little seatbelt thing off, like really thoroughly, to where I don't think it can be fixed. But I didn't break the refrigerator. It still keeps stuff cold. I don't have a like a bottom compartment in the drawer, the belt that holds back all the juice people to keep them from getting in accidents and hitting their head on the floor. Yeah, it gave way, and it was just a stupid thing to do. But I was like, man, you should have a punching bag or something set up in here. I would if I could afford it. Uh, Actually, can't afford it, but I don't spend money on things. I mostly save money in hopes of moving out of here. Uh, but yeah, that's where my head's at right now. It's like, yeah, my nerves are cooked, and I think I've got my head in a really bad place because I watched a lot of horror movies like yesterday, and I watched a movie. Don't watch this movie. It's called Chained, and it's about a serial killer dude, and he keeps like on one of his catch and kill missions. He catches a kid, and so he keeps him, but he chains him up and like treats him like a slave and whatnot. It's not for the faint of heart. I mean, it's not gruesome or anything like that. There are scenes of violence in it, but I don't think, there's no killing on screen until late in the movie. But it's just acted really well and believable. And it not only don't watch it because it's really fucking disturbing, but don't watch it because the ending sucks. Because it doesn't suck for any other reason than from a technical standpoint, because it just doesn't work. It's like they just took it and made this ending and slapped it on the end. So yeah, don't watch that movie. But yeah, that was, yeah, it was stuck in my head and shit. And it's like I gotta start watching more wholesome entertainment. Watching a lot of like movies with murder in them, and so I decided to murder my refrigerator door, and yeah, this wasn't cool. I can see that sometimes as a sign that my mental state's not doing too good. If I'm watching too many horror movies, or God forbid, watching serial killer documentaries, that stuff's not good. We all know that there's bad people out there. We don't have to like dwell on that fact. Uh, so I mean, occasional horror movie's okay, like watching three of them back to back because you don't want to walk on your leg because your leg is a horror movie. Not a good plan. And yeah, there's a difference between a horror movie that works and one that doesn't work, or one that's believable and one that's not, you know, just not acted well. This was acted like way too well. Um, Anyways, so I had, a decent but brief conversation with my friend in Florida, and hopefully I can find the willpower and the wherewithal and whatever strange W word, chutzpah, that begins with a H, I think. Find the nerve to make those calls tomorrow. Like I said, the constant bootstrapping thing gets old. They increased the food stamp benefits thing, so now I have almost $1,200 like on my card, and I'm going to get like more on the fifth, and that just irritated me. So I'm like, because that should be money, you know. Uh, I don't need. I could. I should easily be able to convert that to money if I, Then I start thinking about things that are not good to think about. Not good for me to think about. Like, okay, my brother will send me a bowl in the mail, but it won't help me out this way. But it's a good bowl. I had my tomato soup out of it after I broke my refrigerator, so it's a good bowl. But it'd be a lot better if he just helped me out by doing something really simple. Appreciate the present. I don't, but yeah, I also haven't heard from the person that actually has my card that I called 3 times during the week, so I don't know what's going on there. Um, she might have. I don't know how long my phones were down, but both my phones were out this morning. And before I called my cousin, I had to buy minutes for one of them. Yet, excuse me. The other one is stupid because it's supposed to be an automatic 350 free minutes on the 23rd, but because I'm on this plan, it takes a couple of days for it to realize that yeah, he's not going to give us $15 for unlimited minutes because I'll buy unlimited minutes for the phone that I like better. Thank you very much. So it should be working, but it's not. So I had no phones this morning and was unaware of it. Um, but no, they haven't called me back. So that didn't help my mood yesterday thinking about that shit. It's like, yeah, that's dumb. You know, I was thinking about how much money I have in the bank as opposed to, I need $1,700 in order to pay 4 months rent in advance. And yes, that is a very good deal. But this place is also falling apart. I worry about that too. I want to get out of here and have nothing to do with the landlord and just, he can fix it up after I'm gone. You know, during the COVID thing, especially, he's not going to have any leverage to raise the rent because I don't think he's allowed to do it. Um, I know he's not allowed to evict us, so there's an eviction moratorium thing going on here, which would really kind of suck if they still had the meth business going upstairs. If there was an eviction moratorium, I imagine that's suspended for criminal activity if you can prove it. But as far as the landlords are concerned, they're not liable for the shit that goes on their property, so they mostly don't care. They care about you coming up with that money every month. Um, but as far as that goes, I don't really care. That's not important to me. It's important to me is like not so much that this place is falling apart. It's like I don't want to have interaction with the landlord, and I would like something to be done about my knee in order for me to be able to walk. I would like to be able to get out of the house. Occasionally, that would be cool too, but I don't really have anybody. I do have that my best friend. I could ask him to take me somewhere, drive me around or something. Uh, as far as like riding Sarda, I could do that. It'd be really uncomfortable for me. But people that are all messed up go on those Sarda buses. I've seen them. So, I could do that. Mainly right now, I'm just kind of like testing the waters as far as the benzo intake thing, just to kind of see where I'm at. Like, I don't know if I can hang at 5 milligrams. It would be cool. I don't even know. Um, I know approximately how many pills I have left, and I know when I want to get my refill. That's about it. That's about all I know as far as that's concerned. Um, it's kind of, you know, I don't want to put too much strain on my brain and my emotional psyche, my emotional well-being, and my psyche, I suppose. Um, but it's not even a matter of independence now because I have a ridiculous amount, you know, of what would you call it, surplus stockpile. Yeah, I didn't want to go into specifics there, but I have a ridiculous amount. I guess ridiculous amount is all you really need to know. So it's not a matter of me like this is just in case I'm don't have a source or whatever. It's like no, not really an issue. Uh, it's just I'm doing it because that was my goal from way back when. I mean, I started trying to get off of these things in earnest around what April of 2018. We're already in 2021, and then like as we know, I've had like everything, damn near everything, go wrong since then. Speaking of everything going wrong, I should probably mention the fact that I've had a couple of arrhythmia things going on the last few days. It's also making me think that like maybe I should think about upping my dose because they don't really know what brings on AFib arrhythmia. The sheet they send you home from the hospital has everything listed, including your dog looking at you cross-eyed as far as a possible cause of, you know, arrhythmia. They don't know. It's just a misfiring of electrical impulses to your heart. So I don't really know what causes that. I know I'm like under stress because of inactivity, bad leg, uh, not getting that food card thing resolved. Where I either have the card or I have some sort of arrangement made with that. I haven't talked to that person. I don't have that many people in my life, but I haven't talked to that person in like 2 months. I mean, I don't know how long. At least 2 months. I haven't talked to them at all. I tried to call them, and they had this thing where, like, when they listen to music, their phone just says they're not available. And then they got a different phone now. And they called me on the 1st and on the 13th, and I called them back on the 16th. I missed the call entirely. That was on the 1st. I found it in my voicemail messages. But then I called them back like 3 days after they called me. And I called them like 2 days straight, 3 calls. And I'm like, well, that's enough. You know, they got 3 messages from me. And I told them what number to call. All I got to do is keep my phone on, keep minutes on it, and we'll see if we hear back from them. I'm really just afraid of getting involved and, you know, getting stressed out and involved in family nonsense. So, um, yeah, so I really just don't want to push the issue, but that would be nice to have that resolved. Either have the card or, you know, just to talk to that person. And you don't talk to somebody for a long time, it makes you wonder what the fuck's going on inside their head. And they don't text me, you know. I don't know what, you know, who the hell knows what's going on. I'm not sure I want to know. But that's adding stress. Like I said, I got the stressors of the reduced benzo intake, the bad knee, and limited mobility, and the pain, and not getting out of the house. And then I got to make these calls and appointments, and then I'm going to have to start going to doctor's appointments. They don't send cardiologists to your house, but I think if I make a call to the Coleman people, they'll actually send the people out here. Um, Not, oh yeah, I have to make a call for the primary caregiver thing. I have to start working on that. So that's 3 things I got to work on as far as making phone calls. And I didn't even look in the mail because I talked to. I think I might have told you that I was getting like switched from CareSource Manager to CareSource Manager. That's my health insurance is CareSource. So I talked to like this new person, and I'm like, well, cast a wider net is the phrase I used because I knew it was a phrase that they would remember. And I'm like, I think I went to all the local, by local I mean from here to Cleveland, like 60-mile radius. I'm like, cast a wider net, because I'm thinking maybe I can get my friend. I mean, we go to New York State together on road trips. I think anywhere in Ohio, man. I'm like, anywhere in Ohio, if you can find an orthopedist that I can call, that might help me. So if they're in Youngstown, I don't care. I don't care where they're at. Columbus, I don't care where they're at. Just send me a thing. Send me like they'll send you like a list of what do you call it? Doctors, dentists, whatever. They send you a list in the mail of after they do the research. I haven't seen anything like that. I don't think, but I'm not been in my right frame of mind, so I might have thrown it out altogether. I don't know, but I get so much dead weight mail from CareSource where it seems like I get like 10 things mailed from them a week, but usually it's a different looking kind of envelope when they send you like a list of um, doctors that you can go to. Um, the other thing I don't know if I mentioned is I've been able to stay in the rotten free, but it's only because I haven't really pushed my leg and done anything extra. I've been able to stay in the rotten free for a few days because I counted out my Neurontin. I have 72 pills left, and I should start conserving them now because I have to take them, you know, 3 and 4 at a time. And 4 goes into 72 18 times. That's 18 days if I was to take them every day. And I don't think I'm going to get to see a doctor that soon. So I'm just going to trust that my math is right. I'm starting to rethink it. So, yeah, I'm in not a good headspace. I'm having a bad day today as far as in general. As far, yeah, it just seems like a lot, you know. It seems like a lot. I was kind of checking my knee out in the mirror. I'm like, why does my knee bend backwards like that? And I was trying to, it just does that. I'm like, what is that about? It's like when you hyperextend your knee. It's like my knee, my leg is like hyperextended all the fucking time. It's like, what is that about? It's like, is that part of the disease? Is that just from the Baker cyst thing, or what the hell is that about? And I try not to get too depressed or angry about how like I've had this condition with my knee that I think is treatable, and nothing's been getting done about it for like years. I can't get anything done about it, and the only thing I had done about it was I had a procedure done on it that did nothing. And I've had like cortisone doesn't work on it very well, as I've covered. I'm not sure what it needs. Um, no, it just seems like a lot. It just all seems overwhelming because you're talking about like so many different things and so many different problems. It's like, yeah, it's not like dealing with, how they say you take one thing at a time. Well, for me, there's no taking one thing at a time. Because the first thing I have to do is get up and walk on a knee. So I've already one down. The next thing I do, and I'm taking one at a time. I'm taking on 2 things at a time. So, you know, anything I do, I'm taking on 2 things at a time. And yeah, um, at least the pain, I'm uncomfortable and nervous and edgy, and I don't, I got pain and stuff, but it's a manageable amount of pain. I can at least say that. I was like thinking earlier today, you gotta treat yourself and take some Neurontin. Like it's a hell of a life when that's a treat. Uh, Taking pain pills that only marginally work, but yeah, I need to watch more uplifting entertainment for sure. If all you can do is sit around and watch TV shows, it's like watching too much SVU. I think my niece made a joke about that. She's like, "Yeah, you got to put like a limit on the amount of shows you can't chain watch SVU. You'll start hating everybody in the world." Special Victims Unit. Yeah, people are horrible in general. So, you know, present company accepted, of course. But we already know this. We don't have to revel in it with our entertainment all the time. Um, Oddly enough, that is my favorite kind of movie, though, is movies where somebody is fighting the odds against survival and figuring out ways to turn the tables on people that have wronged them or hurt them in some way. So that's my favorite kind of movie. I don't know if you call that a revenge thriller or what you call that, but that's like I watched one of those and I like the wily coyote aspect of it too. Is when they're thinking up ways. Like this woman just found this barbed wire like randomly, and she like coiled it up and kept it. And I'm like, I wonder what she's gonna do with that barbed wire. And then later on, she strung a trap with it for a guy on a motorcycle, and deliberately made noise, and then ran underneath the barbed wire so the guy would, with the barbed wire, and she took down her assailant that way. And I'm like, ha. So I like that kind of yeah. One of those Roadrunner cartoon type of things where they're figuring out tricks and traps and using their brains to escape difficult situations. Hmm, I wonder why I like those kinds of movies. I don't think I can think my way out of this mess though, because I'm not dealing with rational people. I'm dealing with a medical establishment that I can't outwit uh, in the main, because you can't get people to treat you by tricking them. You can't be like, um, oh yeah, I'm fine. My knee's just like messed up, and another leg that's all withered and skinny. It's just like that. You have to go in there and admit you have a rare disease, and that's like, oh, we don't like that. We don't like rare diseases around here. You need to go to the rare disease doctor. We just treat affected limbs. You may have an affected limb, but we're not interested in treating you. So there's no outwitting them on that. You can outwit them like that's why I still have Neurontin, is because I made a fairly clever phone call when I had a good brain day, and I was able to get a psychiatric nurse to prescribe me Neurontin, even though they were uncomfortable doing it. So I was able to get 2 scripts for Neurontin. That was cool. Or I'd be in a fine mess due to my generosity in giving things away. Right now, uh, I'm already, it just still feels like a mess. You know, like if you gotta pay for it with severe pain just to do a limited amount of housework and then take pills, just to cope with the pain that's inflicted on you from doing really hard things like picking up uh, garbage that or pieces of trash that you threw at the trash and missed, and you have to like pull the trash can out, reach around, and pick up all the we'll say milk cartons, just for something to say. Pick up all the milk cartons and rolled up paper towels, and yeah, just bending and picking up things and stuff like that turns into torture. I don't know, man. It's just a bad situation. I wish I didn't have to go through it. Um, I don't have to, of course, but want to keep living. Don't have any choice in the matter. And yeah, I don't know if you hear my stomach misbehaving, but I'm still on the starvation diet mostly. Uh, got a good relationship worked out with the cat now. He seems to. He didn't trust me at first. Like he was like, I don't like you. He wouldn't come in the house while I was out there, and I had to go hide in the bedroom. And then he came in the house. And then when I came out of the bedroom, he ran back outside and said, "I'll take the cold over you." He didn't like me or trust me. But you see, you have to do it that way because you have to keep them out 24/7 if you live in a northern area before it gets really cold out so they can develop that nice winter coat. It's going to protect them later on, but you can't let them in the house. You have to keep them out all the damn time. So I kept them out all the time for 2 or 3 months, and then I wanted him to come back in. And it wasn't long enough because he's like, I remember you. You threw me out because he's holding a grudge. But I got a good relationship worked out with him now where, he'll come over to me and he's not afraid of me. And the weather here is cold today, and it was colder than I expected yesterday. And the window is propped open right now, but it's cold enough to where I can't keep the window propped open all the time. So I had to make sure he had a litter box in here just in case. Um, but yeah, that's the arrangement we got. Like when I woke up at 6:30, he was waiting for me at the window, like, let me in. It's fucking 18 degrees outside. Like, okay, that's the first thing I did is I took care of somebody else. Went over and opened the window. And then I went and made him a cup of coffee in the morning. And wondered why I had a splitting headache. And I'm like, don't think about it. And I like felt around in my sinuses. Like, why do I? Because I don't get headaches. And I had like a whole left side oriented headache. And I'm like, what the fuck? I got like a bad tooth. I mean, what the hell's going on with me? And I took some ibuprofen and drank some coffee and felt a little better. And then went to sleep for a little while and felt a little better. It's all relative. Uh, Most people would say I feel horrible right now, but yeah, I feel a little better as compared to waking up like I did. Um, yeah, I guess I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm just like I was talking about some of this stuff. I wasn't talk. I was. We weren't having a conversation about it, but I was actually saying how I was doing to my cousin in Florida. But there's really nothing you could say about it, right? You guys offer me advice sometimes, or suggestions, or encouragement or whatever. But really, there's not that much. Like it's I don't know. People don't want to talk about it because they don't know what to say about it. We'll put it that way. In person, anyways, where they don't have time to be tactful and think about it. So there's that big pause after you're like doing your boohoo's about like things are shit, and so they don't know what to say about it. So I waited and listened to the pause, and I said, "How's things going at work?" You know, um, yeah, but he listens at least. Uh, that's like pretty much everybody. They just listen. If they listen and then don't say a whole lot about it or don't. Sometimes it's worse if they offer suggestions because they don't. They got a healthy body. They don't know what's up. So they'll offer suggestions, or I should do this, or I should do that, and they think they're trying to be helpful. And really, all you want to do is like have them ask questions or show a little interest. You don't really. It's not. It's not like something I haven't thought of. You're gonna magically think of something I haven't thought of. It's probably not gonna happen. Somebody did a couple times. You guys suggested things that I haven't thought of. Like, why don't you just say your card was lost, and so get a new card. And I thought about it, and I'm like, don't really want to risk that because I'll have two cards rolling around. I don't know. They might have different serial numbers on them, but still be in my name. And I'll be like, I don't know. I worry about fraud with things. So maybe that's not a legitimate worry. I don't know how it works because I never lost EBT card before and had it replaced. So I didn't think of that before. It's like that never occurred to me to do that. Um, yeah. As far as other things though, no, I don't mind suggestions and stuff like that. It's like usually I think of the things already to be honest. There's some things I don't think of, there's some things that are helpful. Um, so I'm not cracking on y'all about that. It's just like when you're talking to somebody in person, it's all you really want them to be is like interested. I don't know if that's just me or whatever, but all you want them to be is like kind of interested in your situation. If there's somebody that you've known for 30 years or whatever, kind of like them just to express a little interest, but usually they don't want to talk about it like, well, what's it like? You see, I ask questions. That's my go-to thing. You know, like when I said like how's work's going, I'm like, well, do you have like a high turnover where you work, or are you working with the same people all the time? Just ask questions, and then it gives people are interested in their own lives more than anything else, of course. So it gives them like an easy platform. That's what people know best is themselves. So they like to talk about themselves and their lives. So that's just, I don't know. That's Steve's theory of the art of conversation is ask questions. The thing of it is sometimes people find the questions too direct or personal. So you ask tactful questions. There's really no safe questions. Uh, I've been kind of like I don't know, damaged maybe by dealing with crazy people. So asking questions was never a safe thing. I remember like asking questions of that one dude that broke a guy's hand with a ball peen hammer in a very deliberate and premeditated fashion. And he was like, "What do you mean by that?" And I'm like, "Well, I was just asking because." And he's like, "Well," he wasn't like it's none of your business. He didn't get all offended and stuff, but he was like digging into my motivations. And dude's like an NFL lineman. He's like 300 pounds. Not like 300 pounds. He was 300 plus pounds for sure. He looked like a refrigerator with arms and legs. And he just make me nervous as hell. So I'm used to dealing with people like that where, uh, yeah, where things can go south in a hurry. You think you're asking an innocuous, safe question, and you realize that there really is no. That's kind of like I was thinking about this for whatever reason, but I was thinking about like when you're growing up. Maybe it's because I dreamed about my father or whatever, but I was thinking about like when you grow up, you hear a lot of stories from a lot of well-adjusted people that was smacked or hit or whipped with a belt or whatever, that got like what the kind of punishments that now would be deemed abusive, you know. And the thing of it is like a kid wants to know what to expect. They want the security of knowing, like, if I do this, this will happen. And if you know you're getting an ass whooping for something, it's a lot different than not knowing what brings down the ass whooping and not knowing, like, one day it's safe to do this, the next day it's not. That breeds insecurity. So I think consistency as a parent's like the most important thing. Now I'm not saying you should like ignore other things like I don't know, expressing love, being the type of parent where like uh, you have a sense of fun about you, or like okay, you do use corporal punishment on your kid, but like having like a little leeway in there where the rules aren't like crazy, where you don't have like crazy rules. Which, by the way, as trying to find an antidote to the horror movie, speaking of crazy rules, I watched what the heck was the name of the show? I don't remember the name of the show, but it was about somebody leaving, I believe, the Hasidic Jews and just taking off and going to Germany. And she was like, there was just so many rules, you know, because you grow up in an uptight, situation like that where there's rules about everything. And then she just left it all behind, but she knew they would try to kidnap her more or less and drag her back into the Hasidic lifestyle because I think she was pregnant with her. Yeah, she was pregnant with her husband's child. Anyways, it was a good show. But the point being is like when you're raising a child, be consistent. But you don't need to have rules about every damn thing. Let your kid get dirty sometimes. Let them play. Don't worry about them getting hurt all the time. You know. Yeah. I remember I took my nephew fishing, and it's like I got I didn't get in trouble, but he got in trouble for getting his clothes dirty. I'm like, yeah, that's part of fishing. If you sit on the ground, you're gonna get dirty. The type of fishing we did, we didn't have chairs or Barco loungers on the shore. We were sitting on the ground, and fish tend to be slimy, and dirty happens. So let kids be kids, but like have that consistency thing that would breeds self confidence. Another thing I was thinking of is like, don't be the type of parent where your kids are actually afraid of you. They should be afraid of punishment. They shouldn't be afraid of you, because that's a humiliating way to grow up. Because you grow up feeling like a coward because you're afraid of your parents. It's like you're actually physically afraid of them. So I'm watching that show with the kid chained to a radiator, like thinking about my dad. Well, maybe that's why I had a dream about my dad or whatever. But yeah, don't. Yeah, you want your kids to be afraid of punishment. You don't want them to be afraid of you. You know, growing up in fear, it does make you feel like a coward, and I always felt cowardly, and that's also not good. I don't know why I do these things. Right? I guess I'm just like that, but I like to think things out and think out like not necessarily. It's not self analysis. I'm just thinking. Was thinking about parenting. Parenting. What makes a good parent? It's like what, because that's the number one problem in the world is bad parents. I don't give a damn what anybody says. It's not the economy. It's not the environment. It's bad parents. When I go outside, I don't worry about the economy beating me in the head or shooting me or stabbing me. I worry about bad people that were raised by bad people. I'm not worried about environmental factors when I go outside in a bad neighborhood or when I'm getting money out of an ATM. I'm not looking around for global warming to attack me. I'm looking for the children of bad parents. And you can take this as far as you want to, but bad people screw it up for everybody. If you sat there and you thought about it, you'd probably get yourself depressed. But you think about like the lack of societal trust in the world, it's all caused by bad people. It's like because of bad people, we have to treat good people like they're bad people just to be safe. You can't be going around trusting people because of the bad people in the world. And the bad people are a result, generally speaking, of bad parents. There are exceptions to the rule. But, anyways, so I think about those things. I think about like what makes a good parent, what makes a stable child, and why is the world like it is. As and I just remember because I'm older, I remember what it was like to grow up with the door unlocked, or to like go in somebody's house that just was in your neighborhood that you weren't. It's like, oh, you're so and so's kid, come on in, and then you just went in there and you didn't think nothing about it. And yeah, I'm not sure like horror entertainment helps in this regard as far as societal trust. But then like I'm a nice enough fellow, but being on the large side, ugh, time to quit talking. Being on the large side, when I would walk, I could see the fearful look on people's faces. And I'm like, I'm just out here walking. Or I would hear doors, locks click as I walked by, and I'm like, look, I'm just out here walking, man. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with you in the car. I'm out here walking because walking is good for me. And I might not be able to do it my whole life. So I'm going to do it now. But Anyways, um, yeah, so I have too much time to think about things like that and analyze things. I think I got that right. I mean, um, stability. That's why people, I think, a lot of. I was also thinking about I was talking when I called my cousin in Florida. I'm like, I bet he's doing his laundry at the same time. They usually call him on Sunday, usually around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He tells me he has to get off the phone long enough to fold his laundry. I'm like, I wonder if I should wait till after he does his laundry. It's like when you don't have that stability when you're young, you want it when you're older. So that's why people settle into routines, and you find comfort in routines and going according to habit, and you're less open to an adventure when you grow up in madness, because the adventures that you have growing up in madness, they usually don't end all that well. And yeah, anyways, I guess that's long enough for a video. Um, Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a better day, and if not, maybe what I ought to think about tomorrow is like take enough dope to get the phone calls in. You know, yeah, like I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's really a matter of nerves. It's just a matter of inertia and not wanting to do anything. But yeah, maybe that's what I'll do is I'll get goofed and then make my phone calls stoned. I don't know. I have to get moving one way or another. Uh, but yeah, I think Cindy said that Narat makes them feel like they're drunk. I think she's new to gabapentin. So um, yeah, it makes me feel a little bit off or a little bit weird if I take 400 milligrams of it. Um, Really, volume doesn't really do that to me. It doesn't change my mood. Uh, it slows me down some as far as speaking more quickly. I think you can say speaking more quickly or speaking quicker. I think actually you cannot go wrong grammatically in that way. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, it's enough gabble from me, and I'll let you know how I do as far as trying to get my life back on in order instead of just watching the days roll by and staying off my knee. And yeah, I can't be afraid of like, what if they can't help me? I have to try to get help and then see. You never know. They might actually want to help me. I might actually get help. So you never know. But that's one of the reasons why I'm not really motivated to try. Is trying hasn't worked in the past. Unfortunately, not keeping track of how much benzos I have been taking and not trying very hard in that regard has worked. But I don't think not trying to make phone calls and not trying to get doctor's appointments and not trying to arrange transportation for said doctor appointments and not making an effort to get there, I think not trying is not going to work in that case. I think I have to actually try. But anyways, yeah, I guess I don't want to leave because I don't want to leave. I don't want to go because what am I going to do with the rest of my day when I can't walk on my leg? And I don't want to play the harmonica that I have back there because I don't know how to play a harmonica. And yeah, I think about like all the TV and movies that I've watched. I was also like bumming myself out yesterday thinking about that, like all that time wasted. I'm like, here I am watching movies, watching people get killed in movies, and I'm like, is this really the way I should be spending my life? And I'm like, you don't really have a choice. You're not going to go dancing. And yeah, it's hard to it's like I have a pretty sunny disposition, but it's hard to think in uplifting ways. I need a little bit of something to work with, you know. I need a bright side to look at. I mean, a little bit of a bright side to look at. And yeah, looking around all these corners, all I'm seeing is tunnels. I'm seeing dark tunnels. I'm not seeing like bright lights. I'm not seeing a lot of hope uh, for my situation. I have to figure out how to do that. And it's like I'm not going to get emotional support from my family. My leg doesn't work. Uh, I got roach poison, and I'm too lazy to put up for the roaches, and the roaches seem to be like I said, making a comeback. But I'm not even motivated to kill them. I really don't have anything against roaches, except for I don't want them in my house. I don't, I'm not. Oh boy, my brother is like, oh boy, I get to kill mice. He really, I was like, you hate Mises to pieces. Which cartoon character used to say that? Off of Looney Tunes, and he's like, well, the only cat that could talk was Sylvester, so it's probably Sylvester. And I'm like, yeah, I think it was Sylvester the cat that said, I hate Mises to pieces. But anyways, I don't get any extreme pleasure out of laying out roach poison to kill roaches. But I have it like right over there, sitting on the bed still, and it's mailing package. I'm sleeping next to roach poison. That's not the sign of a sane person. Yeah, but it's still in the wrapper. I'm not. So no, I don't see any. Yeah, I don't. There's definitely no easy ways out of this mess. I mean, the bright spot for me is like I can live here really cheaply. That's about it. Because I can live here really cheaply, and I have an aerodynamic hairstyle. That's about all I can think of right now as far as looking on the bright side. You can always say, but things could be worse. But the things could be worse thing is just stupid. It's just it's just a trick you're playing on yourself. It's like things can always be worse. Take it from somebody who knows. Take it from somebody who had spinal reconstruction and was in such hideous pain that they tricked. So you can trick medical people if you're smart enough. But I tricked the medical people into. I just lied, but they weren't keeping track of my medications very well. So I was able to get a counteraction between my pain medication, my muscle relaxers, and something else. So I'm like, I'm not going to be in pain for a while because I won't be knocked the fuck out. I wake up sideways between the railing and the bed and the mattress, just stuck there. I'm claustrophobic. I'm just stuck there in between the railing and the mattress sideways. Can't move. And I reached my arm back and felt around behind me, which wasn't comfortable because nothing was comfortable. I was in a back brace, fresh off a spinal reconstruction, and found the nurse's thing. But by that time, I was all cramped up and shit. So yeah, things can always be worse. As bad off as I was in that bed, uh, yeah, with drainage tubes in my side, and not being able to walk, and weighing 135 pounds at 6'1", and all the things that were wrong with me, I found a way to make it worse. So I never bought that things could always be worse way of looking at things because it's stupid. But as far as things getting better, things could be better. It's just not going to be an easy road any way you look at it. Whatever they're going to do that's going to make things better for me, it's not going to be fun. That's for sure. It's going to involve some sort of things on my knee, painful physical therapy. I've been thinking like I can't make myself do this, but I'm thinking like I should start my own physical therapy as far as moving my legs. My right calf is starting to look like my left calf as far as just like moving my feet around. You know, I can do that laying in bed, like moving my feet around, or even getting a Pilates band and putting them around my feet and trying to like move a Pilates band with my feet. But I'm just, torture. I need a big guy that would make me do these things, like a drill sergeant type. What do you call them? Physical therapist. You know what? They always show that scene on TV where they have the really busted up guy trying to learn how to walk, and he's all frustrated. He's like, "You did some really good work today. You know, you moved your toe 2 centimeters. I saw it." And I need one of them guys because I don't have an internal one of those. I'm kind of worn out and old feeling. So I did a good job of hanging on here like way longer than I should have. But yeah, just trying to give you a sense of my general desperation. I'd rather sit here and talk about how horrible things are than actually do something about it. That's not really that unique. it's it's not really that unique. It's just I'm trying to give you the reasons why I don't want to try. And that way, if I'm like exposed how worthless and stupid my reasoning is for not trying, then maybe I'll figure out a way that I'll try. You know, if I explore that, maybe I'll figure out like, okay, you're being lazy, you're being a chicken shit. You don't even want to move your feet in bed. Come on, dude. It's like you can move your feet. You can still move your feet a little bit. Got to be doing that. And how about a shower? You ever think they have this thing? I know your shower is small and stuff, but yeah, you're a disgusting person. You need, I don't know, man. Depression is a bitch. What can I say? It's it's a bitch even for people that are less bad off than me. So yeah, okay. I don't know if this made me feel better or not. We'll see. I'll pop back on here and tell you how I did sometime toward the middle of the week as far as setting up appointments and um, getting an appointment with the primary caregiver and trying. I'll let you know if I killed any roaches. My brother really does like to kill mice, though. I'm like, what did a mouse ever do to you? And he's like, they're disgusting creatures. They dribble piss wherever they walk. And I'm like, that's the way God made them. You should be mad at God for making mice like that. And he goes, well, God's not here. I got to be mad at the mice. And I can't kill God, so I'm going to kill the mice. Yeah, but he was actually like, oh man, I got to go check my traps. And he was excited about it. He was like, it's like you really hate mice. I mean, I don't hate mice. I'm gonna hang on here a little bit longer for this story. This is how much I don't hate mice. I had mice living in here, and I didn't care. I didn't like the fact that they were making noises like in my bedroom because I don't like to hear like random noises. But once I got used to the idea that, oh yeah, those are the mice, I didn't care. I'm not living with no rats. I've done that before. Lived in a house with rats. That's a whole another thing. But mice are kind of cute. I don't care if they dribble piss everywhere. But so I was feeding this one. I think I fed him generic cereal and killed him because I had generic honeycombs that come at like Aldi's discount store or something like that. They were inedible. So I come home one night, and that's when I was living here, and it's when I had a dresser right over there, and it was in the early days of living here, and there was this mouse just sitting in my bedroom doorway, like looking at me. I walked right past him, and he just kind of like looked at me, like, "What's up?" Like, "What's up?" And so I stopped and I looked at him, and when I stopped and I looked at him, he just took off and he ran underneath that dresser, and I'm like, "Let me see something." And I put a piece of food, I don't remember what it was, underneath the dresser, and it disappeared. And I'm like, "Oh, that mouse must have got it." And then I put like one of those honeycomb things, like a generic honeycomb cereal type thing, underneath the dresser, and there was like 2 bites taken out of it, and then I never saw the mouse again. So I may have just accidentally discovered a effective mouse poison. I don't know, but yeah, it's bad food when a mouse turns its nose up at it. Um, Anyways, point being, my brother hates mice. I don't. Goodbye. I'll talk to you later.